Right. Well, it's a very good day to lecturers Ajam Mohammad. Today, me and my group will be talking about how exercise can help manage stress, anxiety, and depression. So my group consists of me, Mohammad, Afnan, Ahlami, Mohammad Fauzi, Mohammad Adam bin Mohammad Fadzil, Khairul Amirin bin Rosli, and Aiman Ashraf bin Abdul. We hope you learn something and hope you enjoy. All right, so into the article that we had to study, we found three basic economic concepts in that article. The first one being resources, second one being empirical analysis, and the third one being positive statements. So, what I basically, when I was studying this article, and while we all were studying this article, we found some basic things that we gathered from this article. We learned some things. The first of which was exercise helps mental health as much as physical health. As you read the article, find out that not only is exercise good physically, but at the same time, it helps us mentally. Second of all, exercise has tons of cons, but although there are many pros of exercising, you get to learn that there are also some drawbacks, as everything in this world is balanced. Thirdly, we should strive to incorporate a certain amount of exercise in our daily lives. When you read this article, you find out that exercise actually has a lot of benefits that everyone's missing out because people don't tend to try to incorporate these things in their life. So as you read the article, you learn more about it, and we should all definitely start putting into our lives. For the next part of this presentation, and for the body concept or resources, I would like to pass the mic to the Khairul Amirin.
All right, for resources are known for being input in the production process to get things done. Resources are also factors for production. Here are some evidence from the article. For certain activities, using gear such as helmet or goggles can prevent injuries. Like for example, if you like to ride some cycling or ATV, maybe you need some gear to keep you safe. Uh, People should make sure that their equipment fits properly. This shows that gear is a resource needed in order to maintain physical activities. Next presenter.
So, right. So let me continue with the second body concept, which is the empirical analysis. So first of all, let me define what is the meaning of empirical analysis. Empirical analysis entails stratifying data based on the risk variable being researched, estimating the probabilities of the event of interest for each stratum, and statistically evaluating hypotheses about their connection. If the data is sufficient, such an analysis yields a clear relationship between the research probability and the possible risk. So it is, in the other words, it consists of 6 steps to create a hypothesis, which is to observe the events, detect patterns, set hypotheses, collect data, test hypothesis, and based on the test hypothesis, we will accept or reject the hypothesis. So there's a key word in the article, which is timeout hypothesis, which is in 1998. In a small sample of distressed ladies, researchers examined the timeout hypothesis and discovered that exercise reduced stress level. So we know that they observe the events and detect the pattern, and they set the hypothesis that exercise can reduce stress levels. Then they collect the data and test the hypothesis. Then they accept the hypothesis, which is the exercise can reduce stress levels. So this same goes to during 2021, when the researchers discovered that taking a 10-minute exercise break during a difficult exam week reduced stress and enhanced cognitive performance. So that's all from me. Next to the next presenters.
Okay, slide. The third concept is positive statement. A positive statement is a statement which is based on facts, which can be proven to be true or false. There are two positive statements found from the article. The first one is exercise increases emotional resilience to stress, and the second one is exercise can reduce anxiety and depression symptoms. The first one, it is said that in a 2014 study, researchers analyzed the differences between people that exercise regularly with people who were sedentary. And the result indicated that the stress caused smaller decline in positive mood among people who regularly exercise compared to people who were sedentary. This, this result has proven this statement, which is exercise can increase emotional resilience to stress, to be true. And the second one, exercise can reduce anxiety and depression symptoms. In the article, it is said that the authors of 2020 review looked at a research that explored the effects on exercise on anxiety. In a 2018 review, researchers looked at studies investigating the effects of exercise on depression. And this statement has proven to be true because they have found that physical activity can significantly decrease anxiety symptoms and improve overall well-being of overall mental well-being.
All right, so in conclusion, so from the economic concepts that we've all talked about so far, talked about positive statements, talked about critical analysis, and also covered resources. So basically, in other words, positive statements is something that, like has been said, basically in other words, that is tested, verified, and based on value judgment. This means that you can test it out to see if it's true or false. It's not something that is just an opinion or something that people just think is right or wrong. You can literally test it out to see if it's true or if it's. Empirical analysis, on the other hand, is a stratification of data over studied risks, factors, estimated risks of the event of interest for each strata, statistical set testing of hypothesis on their association. And resources, ultimately, it's just a service or other cert users to produce goods and services that meet human needs and wants. These are all things that we've explained for this and just now. And these are all that we got from that we gathered from the article just now. And all of these things I've already explained. So we have some few suggestions, just a little tip. So we have a few suggestions after reading this article that we'd like to suggest to you to try to do in your life. So the first thing first is making time for exercising. Like I said just now at the beginning, exercising gives you so many pros, although there are cons. But these pros are definitely worth trying out. They definitely make your life ultimately better, helping you with anxiety, like they said in the article, depression, and all other kinds of things, not just physically, but mentally as well, sometimes psychologically. Secondly, it's good to gain better knowledge of exercising. Exercising is really good, but if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how you're supposed to do it, then ultimately you can just be hurting yourself. To gain more knowledge about exercising will ultimately help your body, help your mind, and at the same time help your health. Because without knowing how good exercising is, how can you really enjoy loving doing it? If you're just doing it just because you follow people, you're not going to truly fall in love with it. Thirdly, use exercising as a coping mechanism. Some people resort to bad things. They could be smoking, they could be drinking, and all these things they give you very little pros and mostly just cons. They don't help you at all in your life. They can sometimes make it worse. Exercise brings so many pros into your life and helping you in terms of psychologically, mentally, physically, making you stronger, healthier, making you more efficient, making you disciplined, and ultimately making your health way, way better. So using it as a coping mechanism whenever you need a stress relief is definitely the way to go. That's all from us, from our group, and we hope you enjoy. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And we all hope that you learned something amazing.